What about the car? You don't want the car if it has a torn ACL. Come on. What about?
Okay. I agree.
I'm just saying.
Evening, afternoon, whatever time it is by you, welcome back to the Underqualified Knuckleheads podcast. As always, I'm your co-host, Daniel Keene. Joined with me today is Andy Newman and our special guest, Charleston Bowles. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing awesome, Daniel. It's great to, be on a Friday, be close to the weekend. I'm super excited to talk with you guys.
Oh, yeah. Charleston, by the way, is apparently the utmost authority in the newsroom on NFL drafts. So I'm glad that we have brought him in, and I'm glad that you remembered to say your name.
I did.
Because this might be because I think there was like a stretch of maybe like 9 or 10 podcasts where Daniel just didn't introduce himself and just assumed that everyone knew who he was.
Yeah, it's okay. I got the intro down. We got the introductions down. We're doing pretty good.
We're doing well. We're doing well today. Yes. I think it's a tight, efficient podcast, and I like that.
Charleston is the associate sports editor at the Ball State Daily News, and he does know his stuff when it comes to NFL. So we're going to be talking the NFL draft today, a little bit of news and rumors. It is a big football episode.
Per usual.
But it's going to be real fun.
It better be.
It better be.
It better be fun. If it's not fun, then we should just end the whole podcast. Stop it. Delete everything.
Nah, I don't think that's
okay.
A good
Fine,
idea.
yeah. Okay. It'll be fun. I'll make it fun.
First and foremost,
yes.
USFL Week 1, a new branding of football, but it's not the NFL. Andy's really hyped for it. I'm not too into it. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you not enjoy?
It was okay.
Oh, just because the Panthers lost?
No, it wasn't just because the Panthers lost. I think it was just okay. I like the style of football. I didn't watch the whole game.
I watched all of them.
It just felt odd.
I can't watch random players. That might be something with me, but I need to see like the high superstars. I need to see top tier talent, and I just couldn't get into it.
That might be it. Like maybe it's not a talent thing, but like when you know everyone on the Kansas City Chiefs, it's pretty easy to watch a Chiefs game.
Exactly. Yeah,
but I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to know some of the players and it got better. But yes, the Michigan Panthers did lose. Shea Patterson did not look great, and neither did
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah. He's just not a very good
He's
coach,
lost some
honestly.
weight though.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's looking
congrats.
thinner.
Great job, Jeff. But no, I think I understand the issue that people have where and I think, again, another staple of the podcast, Pat McAfee, was talking about this on his podcast or in his show. Not really a podcast. He's got a radio show. He's got a lot of stuff. Whatever. Pat and the boys were talking about kind of how if you don't have good quarterbacks, you don't have a good league. And I could kind of see that kind of seep through in the problems. Like you were saying, Shea Patterson wasn't very good. Because really the foundation and the face of your league generally is a quarterback, and we're just not seeing very fantastic play out of them, especially with the Stallions QB. Like the first game, he had 2 gloves, then he had 1 glove, then he had no gloves, and he was out of the game. So, you need elite quarterback play, and they just kind of don't have that. I enjoyed. There was a lot of really good football, I felt like. But, I understand that there are a lot of issues and problems with the spring league. I wish that it was just completely 100% like the NFL had a spring league of some kind or some sort of feeder teams.
Kind of like a G League.
Exactly, yes. Like an NBA G League. I wish that there was that the NFL had that. But I do also like the fact that it's a rival-ish of the NFL. Not really. Like they're not taking them on headstrong. But it's something different. I don't know. I just wish that the NFL had an experimental league.
Did you guys see any of the catches on Twitter? I saw some of the catches from a couple games.
Oh no,
like
they were
one-handed, nice grabs and stuff like that.
I think they did a good job at social media, kind of getting out to the fans. That's one thing because I followed through social media because I could not watch the games.
Yeah,
I think Robbie General tweeted about it. He's a Muncie Star press reporter, but he said I was watching 10 minutes of this USFL game and then I had to turn it off because I couldn't stand the drone noise. Did you? Guys hear drone noise?
They have a drone.
Does it get good shots?
No, not even that. Like it's kind of like weirdly slanted. I don't know what's up with it. There's like some cool stuff about the drone, but I feel like it could be executed far better.
Hopefully they'll get better at that.
I don't know. And then it was really disappointing. Like the first game, they had like 10,000 fans were there for like the first game, and then after that, I think there was maybe like Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding.
The Panthers game was empty.
No, there was nobody. There was no one there.
Nobody.
And
there.
where do they play?
Birmingham, Alabama.
They're playing their whole inaugural season in
Every
Birmingham.
team. Yeah, every team. So when you really think about it, like I didn't think about this when I was like really kind of comprehending. Like I'm like, oh, okay, everyone's playing in the same stadium in the same location. Kind of a nice, easy idea to get all the stuff. Like I'm just talking purely like convenience and money wise. It just made sense. But when you have a team that is literally just like located in that area, like the Birmingham Stallions, people from Birmingham will show up to that game and no other game. Because why would they?
Yeah.
You know?
I think also, since it was like the first game, they were giving out as many free tickets
Oh,
as they
yeah.
could, trying to get the stadium
The
back.
tickets are only $10. I did look those up.
I think to get more fans, maybe increase the game day experience.
Yeah.
Kind of have more like, stuff that like NFL teams do and NFL stadiums provide. I think that would kind of increase kind of the popularity down there.
Are they playing in a college stadium or a high school stadium or where? What is the?
It is the UAB stadium, and they played the Iron Bowl there a couple times, like at least like 30 times or something that I was watching.
Is it big? It's big.
Yeah. No, I think it's like holds like 30,000. I do believe, if I remember. They did not fill the top part of the stands. So I mean, I think from what. Like I think it got itself out there at least because there was a lot of people watching on the simulcast thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I was necessarily disappointed, but I'm still excited to see football back.
I am.
That's just me.
Yeah, I know. I would agree with that statement. Speaking of football being back, some football never left.
Apparently,
the fan-controlled football league. Do you guys watch any of that?
Yes, I did watch it specifically for T.O., one of my favorite receivers of all time, just an athletic freak. And he caught a touchdown, which I thought was awesome.
And wasn't it from Johnny Manziel?
I don't think
Johnny. Okay, so
Johnny was on the sideline. I don't think he was playing.
They're on the same team though, right?
Yeah.
the Zappers. Yeah, I watched them last year when there was. So it was AAF 2019, XFL 2020, and then FCF was last year for me, and then now this year it's USFL. But the FCF is still staying around.
FCF.
The FCF, Fan Controlled Football League. Mm-hmm. That's what they call it. It's either FCF or FCA.
Oh,
they do
I'm
both.
following
It's
now.
called both. I don't know. They have the logo. They don't have the L, but they call themselves the FCFL.
And isn't it like
it's really weird?
It's an arena, right? Like it's not. It's like
it's
like a hockey rink.
It's arena football. Yeah,
I could never get by that.
Okay.
I could. Did you guys ever hear about the Hefty Lefty?
Oh yeah.
He was the.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
He was a quarterback.
Yep.
Or
he was a quarterback for the Giants.
Quarterback in Giants. I'm gonna look up his name. But he basically had weight problems for most of his Jared Lorenzen.
Yep.
So he was 285. He was the heaviest quarterback to play in the NFL. He was like Big Ben on steroids, and he played in an arena football league for a little bit, and he could throw the ball. He could throw the ball pretty well.
So did Kurt Warner before he was bagging or after he was bagging groceries. I mean,
that Kurt Warner story is amazing.
I know.
Great
yeah.
story in NFL history to me.
Little tangent. Did you guys watch the Kurt Warner movie?
I did not.
I have not.
It did not look good. I looked at the trailer and I was like, maybe. And
I just don't understand.
It was like a bad Hallmark movie.
That's kind of what
it did not
it gave me those vibes.
It did not look good.
But I'd probably watch it now. Like if it came out, I think it's out on DVD. Maybe I don't know if I have time.
They probably didn't have the biggest budget either for the movie, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
It just looked like I watched the trailer and it didn't look good. The next
I've met Kurt. He's a cool guy.
You met Kurt Warner?
Yeah, I was at the Hall of Fame game. He's
met a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Andy's met
What Hall of Fame game?
It was not the Hall of Fame game. Sorry, it was at the Hall of Fame ceremony for Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James. Like it was day 2, so it'd been Peyton's day. They were doing a broadcast. Michael Irvin and Rich Eisen were up there, and Kurt was coming out of a tent. And I was just standing there, and he came and was starting signing people's helmets and stuff. And walked up to me, signed my helmet, said, "What's up, Kurt?" Had a little conversation, like 5 seconds maybe. Then he walked back up and went on ESPN with Michael Irvin. So
you've met like Frank Gore. Have you met? Have you met Manning?
Yeah, multiple.
Wow,
multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've been face to face and said words to Peyton Manning at least 3 times
during his playing days or after.
During and after.
Wow.
I met him at a hotel when I was in like 7th grade, and when he came back to Indy for the Broncos game.
Wow.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. He signed a helmet that I have that is probably my prized possession. It's Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Edgerrin James all in a mini helmet, and he was the last signature on it because I got all of those by myself.
All of them signed the same helmet?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and then he goes, got a couple nice guys on here. I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, and then I'm like, good luck, and he left, and then he lost to the Colts, which great day.
So do you think we could get him on the podcast?
No, that is stop thinking that we can get anyone on the podcast.
I think we can get Jim Irsay on the podcast.
Irsay.
I think. What did I say?
Urshay.
Well,
No.
maybe you do the talking with him. I think we can get Peyton Manning. I think we get Pat on the show. I think we can get everyone on the show.
The Colts connections. I mean, Danny Pinter, he might have a.
Yo, hey,
Peyton.
We can get Danny Pinter back. Ask him to bring on.
Text Dan. That's our in. Charleston. Okay, currently
we've interviewed him for the Daily News, correct?
Yes, we have.
We should reach back out that channel and say, hey, Danny, you want to come on a podcast?
Dude, Danny's cool. He's gonna start for the Colts this year, which is
Yes.
awesome. Yeah.
We're so off track, but I do not.
Well,
care.
whatever. Yeah.
I'm having
Hey.
a great conversation. We the Daily News sports section went to Thursday Night Football when the Colts played the Jets.
Yeah.
And Danny Pinter caught that touchdown,
It was an awesome.
and we were all freaking out. And the guy behind me was like they were like Jets fans. I did not know. We got like cheap tickets, so it was
Nosebleeds.
it was far enough back to where the other the away fans were like, "Hey, we're here." And he was like, he was like looking at us funny. I turned around, I was like, "He went to our college."
Yeah. No, but that's super. I'm super cool. That's super cool that Danny Pinter is actually doing that stuff, though. Like, hey, good for you, dude. Like, actually, he's literally he's going to start on an NFL team and one of the best O-lines in the country.
He's a very cool dude. Some of the only there wasn't a lot of NFL news this week.
No,
but,
I mean, the big thing was Debo.
The big thing was Debo. He requested a trade. I haven't been following it too much. What do you think about it, Charleston?
I think the perfect kind of situation for Debo to go to is the Jets. First thing, the Jets' offensive coordinator is Matt LaFleur. I think his brother coaches for the Packers, and LaFleur used to be the offensive coordinator.
I think Matt LaFleur is Matt LaFleur the coach of the Packers, and then
so it's Mike
LaFleur.
There we go.
So he used to be with Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. So he drafted Debo Samuel, and they have the number 10 pick. So I do think there is a little smoke there that Debo might want to go to the Jets because they will pay him what he wants.
So what about I heard that the Colts were lining up for this. So my two Colts fans in the room.
No, okay.
Does it hold waters, basically?
I think we're up there, but I just don't know who we're going to give or what we're going to give for him. So
because we have no first-round pick this year.
Exactly. And I think I would assume that they would want some people now and not from not in 2 years, 3 years or whatever. So
what happened with the whole, I think Le'Veon Bell
What?
tweeted something about it.
About Debo?
Yeah, there was a little bit of Twitter something about it.
I know Debo's brother took to Facebook and was very active. And
yeah, I think this is just this should be for, how do you spell Le'Veon Bell?
Leveon. Yeah, Le'Veon
There's
Bell.
an apostrophe in there. But
Whatever.
no, I don't. This is just a me thing. But if you are the relative of somebody who's famous or somebody who is in the public eye or somebody who plays pro sports,
Yeah.
you don't need to talk for them.
Well, like Odell's dad? I think Odell's dad gave him a dub. I'm just going to be really honest there.
I don't know. I don't.
Won him a Super Bowl.
I don't think that. But I don't know. If I'm Debo Samuel, I would have been a little upset that my brother took to Facebook and is talking for me.
Yes, and let's be honest. I mean, would you guys pay Debo Samuel? Because he did only have a 10-game stretch of really elite play. Because last year he showed up to camp out of shape. That's on the record.
I wouldn't pay him like Tyreek Hill money. I would pay him like, I'm trying to think of like a mid guy who's got like a
maybe DJ Moore.
Yeah, like a DJ Moore contract. Nothing crazy. You don't need this much money.
I think he's a little bit higher value than that, personally.
Yeah, but around then I would pay him more than what they're giving Moore, but I think
this is just me. Yeah, this is just me.
Debo, sorry,
I don't know. I know you were.
I totally just
I know.
Forgot what I was saying in the sentence.
Wait, Debo Samuel, I think, makes any team instantly better. That's just me. I think that I don't know how much you have to pay for that, and if it's worth it, then I think whatever team you throw Debo on, they get better.
I don't disagree.
I just don't think it's worth it, in my opinion, because I believe he'll be 28 or 27 at the start of next season. He wants a 4 to 5 year deal that'll put him in his 30s, having him paid a premium, and his play style. He's a running back, a receiver. He gets hurt, pretty easily. So I don't think I would not pay him personally.
So pretty much directly off of Charleston's perspective, which is what a lot of the sporting world sees, Le'Veon Bell said Debo is basically getting punished for doing too much and helping the team win. Debo just needed to stay out of the backfield, which I kind of agree with that. But at the same time, I think it all goes back to the Jaguars overpaying for
Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
like
that ruined everything. Man.
I don't think it's ruined, but I think there's a lot of GMs right now who are about to pay big money for not big money players because of that deal.
Mm-hmm. That specific deal impacted 4 players specifically, and they're all 2019 second-round picks or third-round picks. A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Debo, and then Terry McLaurin. All of them want new contracts and want those now. And Christian Kirk, his contract is inflated, so that's kind of ruined those negotiations with those teams.
Personally, Scary Terry kind of fell off at the end of the year. So
honestly,
quarterback play.
Quarterback pay. But, it's not going to get much better with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Okay, it's not a dig on me. It's just a dig on.
Why? I wasn't digging on you.
Wentz did support Michael Pittman Jr. 1,000 yards. So
yeah, hey, congrats.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Wow, it's an accurate statement. I don't disagree with that. I did see something that the Commanders were saying that they think that Wentz is more of a bridge and a experimental quarterback. They're thinking that's his long term. I don't really know.
I thought it said that they think of him more than a bridge.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They think of him more than that, and I'm like, why?
Because I think that division is so winnable. I think the Commanders can honestly win with Wentz in that division. And the NFC is just weak. If we look at the
NFC least, man. It's going to be the NFC South pretty quick here.
Once Brady's gone?
Yeah.
But the NFC is just not good.
That's just not good.
Yeah.
We talked about it the last couple weeks, but comparing NFC teams to AFC teams, except for the Rams, nobody compares to any AFC team right now.
Yep.
The Browns. The Browns finished 3rd, 4th in their division, and they're still better than half the teams in the NFC. Speaking of the Browns, Baker Mayfield, they've been trying to get him off the books. That now there's talk that they might just release him.
Good. I don't know.
I think you just
Why does everyone hate Baker, man?
I don't. I
think it's because of his personality can rub a lot of people the wrong way. And I think we saw that with Odell and Jarvis.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think he's the kind of guy that needs people against him. He's the kind of guy that needs somebody to tell him, no, you can't do this.
So he's got a lot of people against him now.
I think wherever he goes, if he's playing, wherever he goes, he's going to do well. I think, especially, I don't know, I think you got a team that just cut you.
Yeah.
Basically, after a solid year where you played through injury for them, they go out and they spend the whole house on a new quarterback. I would feel a little disrespected.
It's just me. I think low-key the best place for him to go is the Panthers, and Robbie Anderson literally posted it on his social media at least 12 times that Baker Mayfield is a bum and he does not want him coming to the Panthers.
Yeah, that was wild.
Imagine thinking that Baker Mayfield is worse than Sam Darnold and Cam Newton. He's not.
No. And PJ Walker.
PJ. Yes, I love that guy.
People don't give him enough credit. I'm not the biggest on Baker Mayfield.
No.
He's not at what he's playing at. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he still has the potential. I think people are giving up on him way too quickly.
Yes. He won a playoff game in surprising fashion over a team that they lost to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the two teams that I've seen the
Steelers
most
are good, man.
I mean, Panthers a little bit, but the two teams I've seen the most are Seahawks and Steelers. For me, I want him to go to the Steelers. I would love that. For NFL script writing, I would love that.
I think Seattle's the better fit because I know, Daniel, you talked about it with me earlier. The Pete Carroll fit, they both have that charismatic kind of attitude, and Baker would play with a chip on his shoulder. And I think we saw that with Drew Brees. If you go back to when he got cut by San Diego, when they brought in Phillip Rivers, he kind of played with a chip on his shoulder and ultimately got the Saints a Super Bowl.
No, I would agree with that. I think the only hookup there is I'm not sure that Pete Carroll is going to be coaching, at least in Seattle, for much longer. I think, not in a bad way, I think he's just ready to leave. I think he's either going to retire or he's going to go back to coaching college. But
remember, what's going on in Seattle, not a rebuild, it's a reload. That is the prevailing opinion out of Seattle, apparently.
I would love to see Baker.
Wrong.
I would love to see Baker in Pittsburgh, though. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have a quote. I wrote it in my phone because I texted to my friend it one day. I said, I have not loved a person as much as I have hated the Steelers. Therefore, I have never truly loved a person. It's a joke, but I do not like the Steelers. But if Baker Mayfield had the opportunity to play his old Browns twice a year, I think he would snap that up right away.
Did you just say that you hate the Steelers more than you love your parents?
No, I meant like love, like romantic.
Okay, I was like concerned. God,
Mom and Dad, I love you guys
dear
so
Lord,
much.
You're welcome, Keens.
All of my siblings, I love you guys. That's
Lord. That almost was bad.
Something to watch with Baker and the Steelers. Baker plays good when he has a good running game. We saw that with Chubb and Hunt. The Steelers have a heck of a running back in Najee Harris.
I would say, if he goes to the Steelers, though, I would probably want to see them add another wide receiver because there's not much in that room right now.
All right, boys.
Let's
finally get to where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing in this podcast. It's been 20 minutes.
Hey,
you know what? I like it.
I'm
good
loving
convo.
the conversation. Good people, good talks.
Let's get to it.
We have a NFL mock draft. We're doing the top 15 picks. Just for time sensitivity, and then we're going to talk a few outlier picks, maybe some late round sleepers or whatever the Colts are going to do in the first round because
we're not going to do anything yet.
Third,
second,
fourth, fifth round, not the first
whatever.
round. Yeah,
it's fine.
So Charleston, you have the first pick as guest, and also I kind of wanted the second pick, but we'll talk about that more later.
I want to be the Texans. That stinks. Whatever.
So the Jags have the first overall pick for the second straight year, and I think they go with Trayvon Walker, defensive end from Georgia.
Ooh.
And I know a couple months ago this might have seemed like a long shot. It seemed kind of like it was going to be Aiden Hutchinson no matter what. No relation to the Draft Day movie. But I think Trayvon Walker jumps off film athletically. I think he's very good at stopping the run, which is something that Jacksonville needs, opposite of Josh Allen, who had a heck of a year rushing the passer. I think he had 5 sacks or 4 sacks against Buffalo's Josh Allen when they won that game. And if you look at Jacksonville's general manager, Trent Baalke, his history, he came from San Francisco, ultimately got fired in 2017, but he was a part of the kind of organization that drafted Aldon Smith 7 in 2011 and DeForest Buckner 7 in 2016. So he really, really likes those huge defensive linemen, those guys who have kind of freaky athletic traits that might not have the tape to show for it, but they can kind of groom them into being a stud year 2, year 3.
Yeah, no, I like the pick. Didn't they have, or weren't there concerns over his pass rushing abilities?
Yes. So at Georgia, he was actually a rotational player. So on passing downs, he would go out of the game.
So yeah, that's a red flag for me. I think if he could work on that in the NFL, I don't know. You know, if you're going to spend an overall pick on a guy, I mean, I can totally see the Jags taking him, and I think a lot of people can as well. But my kind of opinion to that is, well, if you're going to spend the first overall pick, don't you want it on a guy who's actually an all-around player?
Yeah, just something I look at in the draft because I've been following for so long. It's kind of like a marketplace. So you're looking at athletic traits, you're looking at what a player could be, and I think like the pass rushing ability, I think that can be taught. I think that can be coached, and I think Jacksonville, with this new regime, I don't know if Doug Peterson, I don't know exactly who the defensive line coach is, but I think Walker can kind of be coached up in that sense and become a pass rusher.
I forgot that Doug is on the Jags now.
I looked at Andy. I totally forgot Doug Peterson is on the Jags.
There.
I love Doug Peterson.
Doug's a cool guy.
Have you watched his interviews? I've watched a bunch of his interviews, and he's just a real nice dude. Doug, you want to come on the podcast sometime?
Doug. I mean, I'm okay. But yeah, I'm surprised. Like, didn't Trayvon Walker? Is that kind of a little bit of like a out there pick?
I think if you look at Vegas, actually, if you look at the betting odds, he's kind of rose.
Hasn't he been rising like pretty recently? Like people are like getting way higher on him. I never understand that. Like, what is happening between the end of college football season and the beginning of the draft? Other than like, personally, I don't think the combine really does anything for you. I don't get how do people rise randomly out of nowhere?
I think people greatly underestimate how much research and effort NFL teams put into their picks.
And the scouting department is huge.
The scouting, pro day, they watch pretty much every single one of their snaps in college.
But why didn't they haven't been scouting them since the beginning of what, like August, October, September?
It's a rotational thing. I mean, during the year they're focused on that. They're focused on the team.
Well, yeah.
And then the second off season hits, it's draft time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm surprised.
I just don't know how that works. It is odd when players rise and fall.
Because right now, if I'm looking at this Pro Football Focus, like top draft prospects, Trayvon Walker is where is he at? He's 12.
Pro Football Focus.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a fan?
No, I'm not a fan at all. I think they look at too much analytics and things like that. I don't think they watch the tape enough.
Got it.
And actually, if you look at PFF, they did kind of a draft documentary with Aiden Hutchinson, so they might be a little biased towards him.
Oh, yeah, because they have Aiden Hutchinson at number 1, 100%.
Yeah. Speaking of, my Detroit Lions have the number 2 pick, and there's no bias here. It's obvious. If Aiden Hutchinson is there, they're going to take him. He's he's about an hour away from Detroit. They could send a car to get him. He's a Dan Campbell guy. He's a generational player.
Gonna bite off some kneecaps.
He's gonna bite off some kneecaps. He's explosive off the edge. He can get to the quarterback. He's scrappy. He'll get what needs to be done. I think his draft day comparison was the Bosa brothers. I would love to see him in blue and silver.
Yeah. I mean, I think he goes first personally.
If he goes first, I said I think the Lions will take Trayvon Walker, but I don't know how accurate that is. I think if he goes first, the Lions might even look at like Kyle Hamilton or something.
See, I don't see Kyle Hamilton. I see maybe Sauce Gardner as a backup, but I do like your Hutchinson pick. I don't think he's a Bosa. I don't think he's a Myles Garrett. I don't think he's a TJ Watt. But I think he's kind of a 10 to 12-year guy who you can put on the edge and know he's going to produce for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a TJ Watt.
Any reason why behind that?
I want him to be.
All right, so am I up now?
Yes,
the
number 3, the Texans.
Okay, and I'm just gonna say this. This might be purely because it might be a little biased here. I think that people are incredibly undervaluing this guy. And I think that he personally, it fits a need that the Texans have. I guess
the
they
Texans
really
have a need.
They need everyone. They need everyone. I think personally, this guy should be way higher than everyone thinks. He's got the size, he's got the knowledge, and the dude just knows football. Give me Kyle Hamilton.
Okay,
that's just me.
I think.
Give me Kyle Hamilton.
That's a shocker to me because safeties don't hold that positional value. But any reason behind?
Again, I'm a big Notre Dame fan, but I understand that a lot of people aren't super high on him for whatever reason, but the dude is an absolute beast. Like, he is physically ready. Day one, he can go out there and make a play for your team. Like, that's just me. I think, I don't know. He's got the size. He's from Notre Dame. He's smart. He knows a lot of people compare him to Ed Reed in that sense. Like, is he fast? Is he not very fast? No. But he knows the game so well, and he can, again, instantly make a day one difference for your team, personally. And I think, while Sauce Gardner would be my other pick in that area, I have Kyle Hamilton above Sauce.
I just feel so bad for any player getting drafted by the Texans right now.
Yeah.
I actually don't, because Nick Caserio, the GM, he came from New England. He's a Belichick guy. I think the Texans are going to be solid.
We don't like Belichick guys on this podcast.
Well, Belichick guys get the job done.
Do they?
In the front office, yes.
Oh, in the front office,
I believe
back
so.
that. Okay.
Patricia,
head coach is different.
Because you as Colt fans have had experience with the Bill Belichick
we don't like him.
guy.
We don't like Bill Belichick guys either, though.
And I, as a Lions fan, do not like Bill Belichick guys.
We've never had a positive experience with anyone from the Patriots.
I do think Kyle Hamilton feels a need because they lost Justin Reed, I believe, to Kansas City, who was their free safety last year.
Yeah.
So I do think that feels a need for a defense that Lovie Smith is kind of taking over after being DC last year. Now he's the head coach.
Yeah, I hope Lovie does good.
I love that name.
Lovie
Smith.
I like his beard.
Oh, his beard
is awesome.
I'm a fan of the beard.
Notch.
Glad he grew it out.
No, I like that pick. I think I would agree. I think some people are low on him. I don't know why he's kind of sunk. I had him going. I had him going a little later.
I think it's a lot of the injury that he kind of sustained towards the end of. I don't like when teams get jittery because of injuries. Like, it just, I don't. Is it really that often that injuries derail a top prospect's career?
Think of it this way. You're buying a car, and that car has broken down 4 times in the last 2 years, versus a car that hasn't broken down as often, you'd pick the car that doesn't break down that much,
The
right?
car that's more reliable. Yeah, okay, I get that.
Thank you.
I get that. Yeah, but no, I think he just has so many intangibles that just will help the Texans right off the bat.
He's a football player. He's a natural football player.
He's a football player.
I love and hate the word intangibles because you hear all these. I mean, you used it in a great sense, but if you see it here on draft day, you hear a lot of guys go, "It's the intangibles. It's the intangibles," and I'm like, I want you to explain to me a little more.
No, that's
it is literally a word for we don't know what we know. We don't know what we're talking about, but we'll know it when we see it.
Yeah, no, but that's literally what Kyle Hamilton is, though. He's a football player. That's what I'm using it in that retrospect.
And I think his football IQ is off the charts.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Smart,
yeah,
dude.
Like again, Ed Reed. That's just where I'm going for. Like, obviously, he's not there yet, and he might not ever be. But that's the vein of player that I'm thinking with him. All right, 4th pick.
So
Charleston.
the New York Jets at number 4, I have them taking Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon, defensive end. Thibodeau was the number 1 recruit in the 2019 high school football class. So he's a big-time recruit, had offers from Alabama, USC, LSU, but chose to stay west and go to Oregon with Mario Cristobal, who's a defensive kind of coach. And I think if you look at Robert Saleh, who's the head coach of the Jets, entering his 2nd year, he has a background in San Francisco. He was the defensive coordinator when they went to the Super Bowl, had Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, is a real heavy defensive line guy. And I know Kayvon Thibodeau has kind of been falling recently, but I think he takes a shot on Thibodeau because he brings to the table a lot of skill set, not only rushing the passer, he can also stop the run. He has very natural power. His hips aren't the best. Again, going back to Hutchinson, I don't think Thibodeau can be a Watt. I don't think he can be a Garrett or a Bosa, but I think he gives the Jets a 8 to 10, 10 to 12 year player who can produce right away for a long time.
I think he dropped in my head at least. I read a couple reports that in terms of character, the Lions were going to not take him because of a little bit of a character issue. And I mean, the Lions are looking for very specific kind of Dan Campbell guys right now, but anytime a team turns down a player due to character concerns, you get a little skittish.
Yeah, something Thibodeau actually did. So when Alabama played Georgia in the national championship, he went on with Fox Sports and he did kind of a live stream with Joel Klatt, a college football analyst. And Thibodeau talked a lot about his personal brand and his image and how he wants to market himself. And I want to get your guys' thoughts. For a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, that's fine with me. But for a defensive end, I don't really want my players thinking about brand if they're a defensive end. I just don't like that.
I don't think a player should be focused on their brand too much. What you do on the field does the talking. Exactly. I don't need your logo. Like the TB12 logo is the only one that kind of stands out and that I know of. But then all of these players have their own logo. They have their own brand. They have their own merchandise.
I think that's more of a basketball thing, personally.
That's a big basketball thing.
Yeah, that was a turnoff for me. And I think that's a turnoff for a lot of NFL teams, having a defensive end that's so young, just coming into the league, and he's talking about his brand. I think that's just kind of a turnoff for a lot of teams.
Gives me Johnny Manziel vibes. A little bit, just a little bit.
You don't want some guy that's full of himself.
Actually, especially Josh Rosen, 2018.
Oh, yeah. No, poor dude.
Rip to that guy.
Poor dude. That's just a tough couple
Very
of
tough
years.
career.
Yeah, I would agree, though. I think it's weird. I think it's odd, but especially you got a guy, he's not even drafted yet. He doesn't even have a team yet, and he's already prepared to make a brand. I think maybe put 4 or 5 years in the league, make a Pro Bowl or 2, then you can start going, I'm going to focus on other stuff. But right now, you need to focus on getting drafted by a team and then proving that draft pick wasn't a waste.
Yeah, Daniel, like you said, if you do what you're supposed to do on the football field, the brand will come.
Yes, like you don't need to tell people your brand. Number 5 or
yeah. We're number 5 here.
I thought Andy was gonna chime in real quick.
No.
Number 5 is the New York Giants. It kind of worked out perfectly. My Uncle Brian, shout out Uncle Brian. He lives in New York. My whole dad side of the family lives in New York, and I texted him last night and I said, "Who do the Giants need? They have 2 top 10 picks. Who do the Giants need?" He said he wanted the Giants to take 2 offensive linemen.
Wow.
2 offensive linemen to draft to protect Daniel Jones. I agree halfway. I think at number 5, if he's available, which I believe he's still going to be available, I think the Giants are taking Evan Neal. Any guy coming out of Alabama, he's got it. You don't play for Nick Saban and don't have it. You don't start for Nick Saban and don't have it. I think he's a great guy, great player, and it's the best offensive lineman in the draft. And the Giants need an offensive lineman. They need to protect Daniel Jones. Later down the line, it's actually couple picks later, but I think the Giants are going to go offensive lineman with this first pick and then someone on the defensive side of the ball. I think when you have 2 high picks like that, you should make one on each side of the ball.
I think Evan Neal, the special thing about him is that Alabama, if you look at his career, he played left tackle, he played right tackle, he moved inside to guard, so he can play a lot of positions on that offensive line. And I think the Giants, I know they have left tackle Andrew Thomas they drafted a couple of years ago. I think he would be a really good fit in New York with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got the Panthers up next, and I'm trying to figure out between 2 guys, but I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Akeem and Ekwonu. What is his last? How do you say that guy's name?
I think it's
Ekwonu.
Ekwonu.
Ekwonu. Something like that. It's like one of them says his name is Icky, and one of them says it's Akem.
Yeah, Icky's his nickname, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So Akem Ekwonu.
So the name is pronounced Ekem. Well, okay, wait.
Ekanawu. Ekwonu. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I know. Hey, well, whatever. Roger Goodell probably won't say it right anyway. But I think between these two, I think obviously the glaring need for the Panthers is some sort of offensive line that can do anything to help a quarterback at all. Saw glaring issues with Cam Newton and with what's-his-face, Sam Darnold last season. So you need an offensive line. And I think personally this guy is the best one off the board. The only other person that you might take in front of him would be Charles Cross from Mississippi State. But I think everybody's pretty high on the guy from Yes, everyone's pretty I can't say his name. I'm going to go with Icky. Yeah, I'm going to call him Icky. Yeah, I think everyone's pretty high on him. He's pretty dominant. He's a lot of run blocking. So I don't know. Are they keeping Cam Newton?
I don't know.
Are the Panthers keeping Cam
I don't think
Newton?
they bring him back. And if they do, I think it's like late August, similar to last year, maybe even mid-season.
Maybe a 1-year type deal. I mean, they have Darnold, and I think that,
I don't know.
I think they're going to
Baker?
draft a quarterback. I don't know. I feel like Matt
At this
Rule,
spot?
At this
Yes.
spot, I think they're
Really?
going to draft a quarterback. That's just me. I think it'll be probably Malik Willis.
I think that's just a bad call to drafting a quarterback.
Oh,
I
don't know if it's a great idea.
No.
I just think they're going to do it.
A little tidbit. So Matt Rule, the Carolina head coach, when he was in college, before his stop at Baylor, he was the head coach at Temple. And do you guys want to take a guess at who he had committed to Temple in high school? It's one of the quarterbacks in this draft.
Kenny Pickett.
Yes. So
Really?
I think that's a connection we should be looking for, but I do think Icky is the right pick here if you do stick with Sam.
Okay,
Yeah.
knowing that info, maybe it might be Kenny Pickett. I just still think, whoever it is, I think they're going to take a quarterback.
I just don't think you draft a quarterback very high in this draft. That's just me.
I wouldn't either, but maybe
I don't think you find any answers long term at quarterback.
we're
this year.
underqualified,
draft.
Andy. So maybe they know what we don't.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know how to say this guy's name. So and I'm trying to get into sports broadcasting. What the heck am I doing?
It's okay. It's okay, Andy. It's okay. Charleston.
Yep, so the Giants hold the 7th pick after picking at number 5, and I think they go with Ahmad, a.k.a. Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati.
I will say he's goated.
So
Yeah.
is his name is Sauce just his nickname?
So what? We looked this up on the Fantasy Express. Quick plug there. His name was Hot Sauce Sweet Feet Gardner, and then or something like that. Barbecue Hot Sauce Sweet Feet Gardner, and then they shortened it to Sauce, and then he also had an affinity for barbecue sauce or something. There was a whole story about it, and they just shortened it to Sauce, and that's his name now.
So I think the one thing that sticks out with Sauce to me, obviously, his length. And for a cornerback, he's 6'3", which is pretty rare at that position. And he has a good blend of confidence and competitiveness.
I see a little bit of Dion in him.
Wow, Dion. That's
Not. I mean, that is a big name to throw up there, but I think he's got a moxie about him. He's got some confidence. He's got some swagger. He's a Detroit native. Love that for him. Also, he was with Cincinnati in this past couple years when Cincinnati started becoming a team that is getting people to look at them. They were in the CFP Final Four this year. They were dominant. They played good teams. They beat good teams, and he's a part of that defense. And I think when you watch a team like Cincinnati, who let's be real, they weren't a powerhouse before, and they're starting to be a powerhouse now. When you have a guy who is on that team, leading that team up the charge, I think he's got to be a guy you take. And I like it for the Giants.
Yeah, by the way, it's A1 Sauce Sweet Pea Gardner. That's official.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. In those 3 years at Cincinnati, he never allowed a touchdown in coverage, according to PFF. And then one more thing on the Giants, why this is kind of, I think, a perfect fit. Now they're in a division with CeeDee Lamb, Scary Terry, have Devontae Smith. The Eagles might draft a receiver this year. So they need a cornerback to kind of lock those guys down twice a year, and I think Sauce gives them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's always just a good rule of thumb when you have two high draft picks, or even 2 first-round draft picks, one offensive, one defensive player. I think it's a good balance for your team, and it's a spot. The New York Giants have a lot of holes. Sorry, Uncle Brian, but they do. So anybody they take is going to be good, but I do like Sauce Gardner. Number 8, the Falcons. You could go a lot of places with this, and honestly, the Falcons just lost their starting quarterback in Matt Ryan. They brought in Mariota. It looks like they're going to give Mariota a chance to be a starter again. I kind of back that, and I think to do that, you got to give him some weapons. He already has Kyle Pitts, who is a future generational tight end. I think that guy is great. I think they nailed that pick last year. Now they need to add somebody else who can complement him, and I think Jameson Williams is the best wide receiver in the draft. I think not a lot of people rate Jameson Williams because of his ACL tear, because he ended his college career.
Well, what about
with injury.
the car thing, Dan? What about the car? You don't want the car if it has a torn ACL. Come on. What about?
Okay. I agree.
I'm just saying.
I agree. No, I agree. There is some concerns. That's why my backup is there.
Sounds like that car is much more concerned than the Kyle Hamilton car. Just me.
Kyle Hamilton broke down a lot.
But it got fixed quick, and it's back on the road and reliable. This car might be totaled. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So I think they're going to go wide receiver. I like Jameson Williams. I think he has what it takes. Like we talked about, Alabama guys, you're coming out of one of the best programs in the country, in history. You gotta respect what Nick Saban's done down there. If not, I think it's Garrett Wilson, which is the Ohio State guy.
Yes, I think Jameson Williams actually fits Atlanta because he is coming off a torn ACL, but Atlanta's not in win-now mode, so they can be patient with him. Calvin Ridley's out for the season. They're not playing to win right now. I think Jameson Williams, if he's not totally himself in 2022, I think in 2023, maybe with a new quarterback, that gives him really a weapon for Atlanta to kind of use all across the field like they did Julio Jones.
And it's a win-win for Atlanta. I mean, if they have him this year and Mariota does well and they decide to keep him on, great. If he doesn't, they're going to add another good quarterback in the draft, and he's got two great receivers already on the field.
And just for the sake of time for everyone here, I think we're going to cut it off at 12 because we are currently we're at like 45 minutes right now. So
yeah, we can cut it off at 12. That's okay.
And we could talk maybe a quick little Colts or Lions or whatever you want to talk. Super neat.
That's totally fair.
Wrap it up real quick. But no. All right, so we just got done with Falcons. So now we're on to the Seahawks that got their pick from the Broncos in the Wilson deal. I don't know, man. The Broncos, they're looking really good as they are right now. So this is just going to add to however well they're doing right now. Actually, no, it's the Seahawks, not the Broncos.
Seahawks.
Whoops. I just looked at the wrong thing. Okay, well, yeah, the Seahawks are screwed.
I put
my
the
bad.
Seahawks in bold.
Yeah, I know. My bad. Okay. Well, yeah, no, the Seahawks have so many problems. That's very true. Their biggest need is a quarterback, which is super weird. They could pick Kenny Pickett. I don't think they should. I'm gonna go with the guy from Mississippi State here on this one. Give me Charlie Cross. That's just me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mac. Oh
no.
Okay,
Charles Cross. Charles Cross. Yeah.
For some reason, when you said Mississippi, I was thinking Ole Miss, and I thought you were gonna say Matt Corral. And
no.
I was like, well, that's a quarterback.
Yeah, no. If you are the Seahawks, personally, if you're any team, do not draft the quarterback in the first round. That's just me.
I think Seattle just goes best player available, and I think that is Cross. And
Yes.
Pete Carroll wants to run the ball, and Cross, he can run block, he can pass block, he can be the left tackle for, I think, an aging Dwayne Brown. So I think this is kind of a Seattle-like pick.
My thing with this, though, is he's number 3 on the big board right now for most people. I don't think I've heard his name outside of just the last 20 seconds.
No.
I don't get it. Some of these guys just get no coverage.
Here's my thing. I really feel like I watch a lot of college football. I watch a lot of NFL football. I feel like every year there's always an insane amount of people that randomly I've never heard of that are just all the way up in the top 10. I don't know. Like, because a lot of them, I guess, are linemen, and they don't really cover linemen a whole lot. But even the wide receivers and the quarterbacks, I was like, who are any of these people? You know? Like, I feel like this year there's been a lot of just, like, kind of no names.
It's a weaker class.
It is. That's just me.
Because we've been spoiled the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Oh, it was beautiful.
Especially with quarterbacks.
Running backs, receivers, we've been
Yes.
spoiled.
We've had some
Nuts.
good stuff.
Because it spilled, like, big names spilled into the second round.
Yeah.
Like, you know? But, yeah, I don't know. I guess, obviously, from what everybody is saying, I'm going to go with Charles Cross because, again, the Seahawks need literally anybody that is anyone.
Best player available.
Yeah, any human man.
Mhm.
So,
Yep. And then with the 10th pick, the New York Jets, I have them selecting Drake London, a wide receiver from USC. I think with what Cincinnati did last year with Jamar Chase, giving him kind of the go-to with Joe Burrow, I think the Jets do something similar with Zach Wilson. I think London is a big body, I believe. He's 6'4". He's very good at jump balls in the end zone, in the red zone. And I think Drake London, I see Mike Evans in his game. I don't know if you guys have watched his tape, but he's very good at yards after the catch. He's very fluid with his route running.
He's a great pass catcher. Like, his ball handling ability is off the charts.
Now, one kind of knock with London, he did tear his ACL, I believe, in the end of October, November, and then at his pro day last week, he elected to not run the 40. So I think speed might be an issue, but the Jets do have Elijah Moore, who they drafted last year in the second round from Ole Miss, who's kind of a speed guy. So I think this does complement Moore and give Zach Wilson kind of a shiny new toy for an offense that hopes to improve in 2022.
Do you think Zach Wilson has it? Like, I didn't watch a whole lot of him last year, but what I did watch of him was not too pretty. Do you think that they
No.
No?
I think he flashed against when they beat Tennessee in New York. I think it was late September, early October. I think he flashed. I think his deep ball is very good, but I do think he's kind of erratic and kind of hectic in the pocket. I think he escapes the pocket when he doesn't need to, kind of gets happy feet. So I do think that might be an issue going forward. But I think London, just give him as many weapons as possible because they didn't do that with Sam at all.
Yeah. I mean, also, what happened to Sam Darnold? Like, he wasn't a bad quarterback. I think he went to Carolina. He did pretty well for the first couple weeks and then dropped off the map.
Yeah, I mean, in the Jets, what I think went wrong, he had Jamison Crowder and Robbie Anderson. And no disrespect to those two guys. They're excellent number 3s, maybe Anderson at number 2, but they are not number 1 receivers. And then I think his running back one year was Frank Gore. So he just really didn't have, and the offensive line was pretty below average. He just didn't have the tools to succeed.
Yeah. Speaking of, Andy's got a picture with Frank Gore.
I do.
Yeah, I think we touched on that earlier on the podcast.
Yes, we did.
Any autographs?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple from Frank.
Awesome.
He's met
Frank's a cool
so
guy.
many people.
Colts legend to me.
Dude, yo, I agree. I have a Frank Gore jersey, man. I have a Frank Gore Colts jersey.
I always wanted
We did
him,
that man wrong.
I always wanted him to get, like, signed to every NFL team. That's what I wanted. I wanted him to play at least one game for every NFL team. I thought that'd be fun.
That'd be kind of
Like
Frank would have been the guy.
He's
That-
old.
that
He's
him
old.
and-
You put him in there just for one snap. Like, it's
Yeah.
not even a thing. It's not even like a play thing. You don't give him the playbook. Just each week he'll play for a different team, and it's just run up the A gap, get 4 yards, pull him from the game, cut his contract. Then he moves on to the next team.
Either that or honestly, Fitzmagic would be the only other guy that
Yeah.
could possibly pull that off.
Is he a free agent right now? His Magic?
Where is?
I think yeah.
So
is he still on the Commanders?
I don't think so. I think he signed
No?
a 1-year deal originally.
He is.
I don't know, man. Anyone could use Fitzmagic, man. Give me Fitz. Give me Fitz over anyone here. I'm kidding. Okay.
I think he's. Yeah, I think he's just a free agent right
Yeah,
now.
well, that sucks. All right, Commanders. Speaking of the Commanders.
I had them taking Kyle Hamilton here,
Okay.
which
Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. I think if Hamilton isn't available, then they got to think. I feel like all the big defensive guys are off the board at this point. So I think then they go over to open wide receivers.
So Chris Olave?
I think Chris Olave.
Okay.
I think he's good. Give Carson Wentz a fighting chance. Give him something to work with.
Fighting chance might be a little, yeah.
Saying
It's
like
Carson Wentz.
You really don't like Carson Wentz,
No one.
man.
No, okay.
It was a bad 2-game
Yes.
stretch, but before that, he
He was
serviceable.
all right. Yeah.
Carson, you want to come on our podcast?
Dude, okay. Carson seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Oh,
Did a lot of stuff in the community in short
Yes,
time. Man.
he did a lot of stuff. He seems like a very nice individual. Like if I had like a dinner with Carson Wentz, I'd probably enjoy myself. You know, like got to meet him, like sit down with him, say what's up, dude.
Yeah.
Pick his brain a little bit. But as a football quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, it just wasn't it for me. And
that
I don't
happens.
think it is.
Sometimes
Still.
you just have like a bad move.
Yeah, hey, I mean, I blame that all 100% on Frank Reich. That's just me. Like, he pushed for that, and it was unnecessarily.
Do you guys like Frank Reich?
At times,
Yeah,
I think
I
I've
think-
talked about his fourth down decisions at times, especially in the red zone, can kind of be. He turns to trick plays a lot, which I don't think works when we have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield.
The Doug Peterson in him.
Now, I feel like he, makes some decisions that I don't necessarily agree with all the time. And also, I feel like he's not hard enough on his players. That's just me. I like a coach that can be very fiery. I feel like sometimes he's too much of a player's coach that it gets in the way of actually like accomplishing something. That's just me. And Chuck Pagano had that problem too, a little bit. But a way that you can a coach that I know that was a player's coach but knew how to do it and knew how to be like a hard guy as well, Tony Dungy. But you're never going to find another Tony. Tony's 101. So, and I think, again, every coach has their problems. Sometimes I'm just disappointed with the fact that we keep making our quick fixes at quarterback based on success that Frank Reich had like 20 years ago with Phillip Rivers or 5 years ago with Carson Wentz. It's just annoying.
That's fair.
It's annoying in that aspect that we cater to him instead of him figuring out what to do with who we give him.
Well, with that sad note about the Colts, who the Vikings taking, Andy?
All right, so this is our last pick. I feel like, again, the Vikings are always on the cusp of something. It's so disappointing.
I think they've just been treading
Yeah,
water for like years.
I know. I think like the Vikings Zimmer's out, right? Who's their guy? It's
Kevin O'Connell,
Kevin O'Connell, yeah. So it wasn't a big name, right? Like I've
Where did he
never
come
really
from?
former
again?
quarterback. I think he came from the Rams. Yeah, McVay's guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that.
So it looks like their biggest need is a quarterback, offensive guard, linebacker, wide receiver, edge. So they pretty much, again, I feel like why do they even throw on like people that like team needs and it's like every single position on the football field? It's like, oh,
hey,
really?
whatever.
Yeah, you know. This one I was kind of going back and forth on, but I think I'm going to end up with the number 2. And then I know you don't like PFF or Pro Football Focus, but I'm going to go with Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU.
I think that's an awesome pick.
Yeah.
I also think
I
that's
think-
an awesome pick. I
Yeah.
feel like we totally did not do that guy justice for most of the
Dude,
podcast.
His film is nuts.
Now, the one thing with his film, his freshman year film is nuts, but sophomore, junior year, he kind of falls off a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think that might be because of LSU wasn't as competitive. He kind of maybe clocked out.
His freshman year was the national championship.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the other they won, 2019.
Yep. And if you look at that national championship game, he went toe-to-toe with T. Higgins, who's obviously now in Cincinnati, very good receiver. And he kind of shut him down in a way.
Yeah, so I think that was probably the best pick on the board, and especially if they need like their number 1 need is a cornerback, 100% a good pick for them. So, yeah.
All right. So, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So that's our 12 time permitting.
Yes.
What do you guys think the Colts need? They don't have one until when's their first pick?
41.
Second
41.
round?
Yep.
I would like to see a wide receiver.
I would like to see a left tackle at
Really?
41 and then a receiver in the 3rd round.
Okay.
I like David Bell from Purdue and Khalil Shakir from Boise State.
Okay. I need a tight end or a wide receiver. That's just me. I think
Are you not a big Kylan Granson fan?
I haven't seen him do anything.
Exactly.
You know? Like he was like what did we pick him at last year? It was pretty low, right?
Yeah. And we were told he would be kind of the Trey Burton of this year's offense, and he
Didn't
couldn't
do
even get on
anything.
the field.
Yeah, he was not on the field. It was Mo Alley Cox, and I'm not very high on Mo. Like Mo is good, but I don't know. It's just not. I wish that we. I don't know. I wish that we had signed some sort of wide receiver so we don't have this problem where we have to pick a 3rd-round wide receiver and that's our number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think our wide receiver core is probably one of the, if not the worst in the league.
I know
which is horrible.
Re-signed Ashton Doolin last week. He's
Yeah,
an awesome
cool.
special teams guy,
Yeah.
but he can't be in the 3-deep rotation, especially if we want to contend in the AFC.
Yeah, right now the only 2 guys that we have on our team are that are literally going to play that I know of at least are Paris Campbell, who gets hurt every year the first week and is out for the season, and Michael Pittman Jr. And then Michael Strawn, I guess.
Desmond
Cool.
Patton.
Yeah, I remember Desmond. Yeah, but no, I think it's always disappointing not to see the Colts pick in the first round. I think the last time we actually picked someone in the first round was Kwity Paye last year, and Kwity didn't even do that well. So
yeah, how did he do?
Not great.
You think
he was personally disappointing for me.
He came on a couple moments, but
yeah,
kind of lackluster.
What was he taking at?
He was taking what? He was like, it was later. It was
Low
like 20s. Yeah,
low 20s.
It was 20s. So Ballard doesn't like picking in the first round, and every time that he does, I feel like it's kind of been duds for me.
That's fair.
Well, not duds.
If you can use
it's either an O lineman or Kwity Paye.
I mean, if you can use a first-round draft pick on a proven player who can come in and help your team, I always love that because the draft is truly, truly very chaotic in that you don't actually know if anything's going to turn out well. So if you can spend that draft pick on a player that you know and you've seen play in the NFL, I can kind of get behind that.
That's why I like Ballard's move when he picked when he traded the draft pick for DeForest Buckner. I think that was a great.
That was
It was awesome
that
because
was
it turned out. What's the Niners guy's name?
What do you mean? You're talking about Bosa or
No,
what?
the defensive tackle that we traded for.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but he's been a bust, and we got Buckner, so it was basically a win for us.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, the guy that they ended up drafting.
Yeah, from South Carolina. I'm blanking on his name.
Well, no. Yeah, I think personally, if you can trade a pick for a proven veteran that's still kind of like younger, do it all day.
I think that's what a lot of teams are contemplating right now with Debo. If they want to trade their first round pick for Debo.
That's I agree. I wish we had a first round pick to deal out because I would totally take Debo for a first right now. But hey, it's whatever.
I think another name to watch at number 41 is David Ojabo. So the Michigan defensive end who got hurt at his pro day. Ballard did draft Deo last year, who was coming off an ACL. He is a first round talent. I think Ballard might take a chance on him. It's never.
I just don't see. I don't think we need. I don't have any need for anyone in the. I think our D-line is set. That's just me.
I'm a believer you can never have too many edge rushers just because rushing the passer is so important in today's game. But yeah, I do kind of see your stance on that.
I just think we have bigger needs personally. Yeah.
I agree. I watched not you.
Yeah.
I agree with Charleston's pick. I watched him at Michigan. Wonderful player.
I'm sure he's really good.
When he got injured during pro day, that was really sad. And honestly, it kind of showed a very cold side of the industry, but he's a good pick. As long as he recovers well, he'll be a serviceable player.
Oh, so was he the guy that like tore like whatever, and then everyone was like looking at him, and just walked away, didn't even help him up or whatever? That's horrible.
It wasn't great. And then Javon Kinlaw. is who the Niners took.
And I don't think he even played in 2021. Maybe
he didn't play too well. I think he played a couple snaps, but just overall not great. I mean, he's still got a future, but looks like the Colts have won that trade, which is always good. At 32, though. The Lions have the last pick in the draft following the Matthew Stafford trade. Honestly, now I'm a little upset. I would have wanted like a guaranteed high draft pick in that Matthew Stafford trade, but I think we have a pick next year too, so we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think I hope he's available. I think the Lions will take Sam Howell. Sam Howell is not the best passer. He's number 2 in draft behind Malik. He's number 2 on the big board behind Malik Willis. His sophomore year, he had a very good passing stint, and he was looking very good as a passer. Junior year, he took a step back as a passer, but he was very, very good as a runner. He broke 63 tackles and ran for 1,072 yards in the last season. I think Lions take him. He sits behind Goff for a year, comes in when they want a little trick guy who can get a run in. Be a little bit of a tool type quarterback for a little bit for Dan Campbell. By the time Goff gets out of Detroit and or trades, leaves, whatever, Sam Howell's in there to take his place. I love it with a late first round pick. I don't like spending high first round picks on players who are going to sit and wait. i.e. Jordan Love.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a phenomenal pick from the Lions, and I would buy a Sam Howell jersey.
Yeah, I see a more mobile Baker Mayfield without the character issues. I know Sam, I believe he set every UNC program record passing. I think that's an excellent pick, especially you get that fifth-year option, which is very important when it comes to negotiating contracts down the line. And honestly, I don't think the Lions will draft high enough next year to get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young because I think the Lions improve a lot this year. So I do think Sam would be a good pick there at 32.
Well, gentlemen, the clock has struck an hour.
We
We
have
have finally broken Zach Greer's record, and I think we need to just let our listeners go to bed.
that is A-okay. Thank you for joining us for this long
Unless you're
haul.
listening on the road. God,
Yeah,
do not
do
go
not
to sleep
fall
on the
asleep
road.
on the
No,
road.
no. Or at work, stay working, get that
you
money.
can sleep at work.
Yeah, we can
Oh, whatever.
But
that's fine.
if you split it up into parcels of an episode, that's probably a good idea. If you listen to the whole episode at once, thank you.
Enjoy. Thank
enjoy
you so
it.
much for getting here.
I believe we've got one more episode before
We'll have our boy Caleb Zuver on for that.
Our good friend Caleb Zuver will be on for our final episode of the semester. We're looking at doing some summer episodes though, so don't get too sad.
Charleston, thanks for coming on, man. You did a great job.
Thank you, guys. Great opportunity. I followed you guys all semester. It's awesome what you guys are doing.
I
Perfect.
appreciate
All
it, man.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty. Wait, no, that's my thing. See you next week.